Well, good evening and welcome back to another edition of Late Night right here with your boy JayJay. We're going to bring it back to you once again. We got some interesting talks, but do stick around. We're going to roll this B-roll and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Don't touch your dial. Here we go. And welcome back from that B-roll. We're gonna take and do this right here real quick and bring it closer to the scene. Excuse me. Well, let's get to it. Intel launches the 13th gen Raptor Lake CPU, the i9 13900 and the i7 13700. The Core i5 13600 13600K now available with the Z790 motherboard. Now, from what I'm hearing, that it's backwards compatible with the Z690E or something like that. That the new 13th gen, you can take and use DDR4 or you can use DDR5. But the thing with the DDR4 is that if you run it on a DDR4 motherboard, you might not get all the functions you were looking for that you would have got out of DDR5. But if you're looking just to get started, that would be, a start to where, you can, plug it in and get yourself going until you can get the Z790. And, me, when I heard somebody tell me about that it's backwards compatible with DDR4, that wasn't so bad, That's in case, you want to go like low end, you want to go the cheaper end, and basically you want to be able to get in there and start gaming with it and everything else. But something tells me with the lower end motherboard, you're not going to get all the 5.8 or the 5.9 gigahertz out of the processor. So might be with a DDR4 motherboard, you might get, you might not get all the speed you want. But if you go with the DDR5, what they're saying is you're looking at maybe $1,500, maybe $2,000 just to get on that platform. For the DDR5, for let's say the i9 Core 13900K, and you do the let's say you do the let's say you do the Z790 motherboard with it, and you throw in the NVIDIA 4090, and you got like 6,000 mega transfers of RAM at about maybe 32 gigabytes or 64 gigabytes. let's just say that, and you throw it all together, you know, like I told you in previous videos, that you're going to be looking at, if you want the best of the best, you're looking at about around $5,000. You know, because you got to get a high-end power supply. You know, you got to get a high-end graphics card. You got to have a high-end CPU, high-end motherboard, high-end memory. You know, and you got to have a high-end M.2 drive. You know, by the time you get done accumulating everything all together, and the proof is right in front of you. Especially if you calculate all the prices, taxes, and everything else, and you want to get a high-end keyboard and mouse, you want to get high-end headset, high-end monitor, and everything else. You know, it all adds up. I mean, by the time you get through the monitor, wanting to do 4K on the monitor and everything else, you're looking at about almost between 8 and 10 grand. That's the high-end part. But, you know, if you look to do the low end, you know, you're still looking in between maybe $1,200 to $1,500 still for the low end. And I know the way inflation is right now, nobody has that kind of money. So, you know, with the new Raptor Lake that's out, you know, you get the 13th gen, it's got up to 24 cores, 32 threads. It's based on the 10 nanometer ESF Intel 7 process node. You know, it's up, they say it's up to 6 gigahertz. And the only time I've seen it up to 6 gigahertz when I'm watching these other reviewers here is when it's overclocked and it's on nitrogen. You know, that's the only time I'm seeing it is over 6 gigahertz, is when it's clocked in on nitrogen. Yeah, we all don't carry that in our house, and there's no way we're going to end up clocking that up to 6 gigahertz here. So, you know, I don't see the advantage for the consumer. You know, I see it if you're an enthusiast and you want to overclock, that's fine, but truthfully, I don't see it for the consumer. I don't see it, you know, being right for I don't see it right for the man that can, you know, that goes paycheck to paycheck affording something like this. You know, that's the reason why I said until after the first of the year, wait until the prices start coming down. You know, and I'm going to be honest with you, wait until the prices start coming down. And then when the prices come down, you know, it'll probably be more affordable. But everybody's saying, you know, you're looking at maybe a year or 2 years down the road before it becomes affordable. Which, I hate to say that, yeah, it's true. Because the reason is they like to bleed. I mean, top end of it, they like to bleed as much as they can out of it before they start discontinuing it, going to the next processor. You know, but it's going to come to the point where it's going to be to where, you know, they can't come up with something new. So you're sitting on another you're going to be sitting on the same processor between 6 and 10 years. It's coming up soon because, you know, technology is growing, but not that fast. Unless we're going into quantum technology. Okay, quantum technology is a different story. That's something that's futuristic. We probably won't see it in my lifetime, just to say, but I'm sure we'll see it in some future generation lifetime. But, you know, this is still sitting on the existing LGA 1700 motherboards. You know, it's up to 28 PCIe lanes. PCH is Gen 4 plus Gen 3. And, and dual channel DDR5 5600 mega memory support that it has. 20 PCIe lane Gen 5. It has enhanced overclocking features, 125 watts, TDP, but that's 125 watts times 2, if I remember right, because it's supposed to do up to 253 watts TDP. So, but all in all, prices you're looking at, the 13,900K for the i9, that's $569, just say $570 at Micro Center. This is the prices at Micro Center. I mean, the i7 13,700K is $400. And the i5 13,600K, that's $300. And on Newegg, they got the i9 13900K for $659. Let's just say $660. The i7 13700K at Newegg is $450. I mean, and you're looking at the prices $100 more from Micro Center to Newegg. All the prices are up $100 more on Newegg than they are at Micro Center. So if y'all are looking to get something, I suggest you go to Micro Center. And if you don't have one close to you, then I don't know what to really tell you. But ordering it from Newegg, you're looking at high prices. It's even like Amazon. I mean, they're throwing out high prices. It's like price gouging everywhere they can go. I mean, what is it costing them that they got to charge more than these retailers are selling it for? So if you can find a better deal, you're best to go look at either Best Buy or Micro Center, or some place that distributes PC parts for cheaper prices. So do your shopping very well. But this launch right here on the 13,900K, I think that launch happened it started today. I could be wrong. You can quote me on it just leave me a comment down below. But the way I look at it, and I know y'all are going to ask me, when am I going to do a build on stuff? Like I tell you, I'm not going to do a build until the prices come down. These are just ridiculous inflated prices. I mean, the cost that they're charging to make these is not it's like double. You're paying double for, what? What are you paying double for? What are you getting out of the deal? I mean, 16 core, 24 threads, or 12 core, 20 threads. I got 6 core, 12 threads right here on my PC. Okay? And, all I have to do is add a discrete graphics card, and I know I can go another 4 years with this system. But you look at what is really costly and not costly. I mean, even if you got, let's say, the i9 13900KS, it's 8P core, it's 16E core, the total core and threads is 24 core, 32 threads. This is what they're saying, okay? So basically what they're doing is to tell you it's 24 cores. They're taking the 8 core P core and 16 P core, and they're adding it together to give you 24 cores. And then they take the whole, that make it as a whole, and then divide, and then times it by 2. Then they give you the amount of threads. You know, it's just it doesn't, it's not sensible to me. I'm not saying too much on this, but you know, there are people out there that are going to buy this. I mean, I'm not stopping you from buying it, but you better have a hell of a power supply. That's what I'm telling you. Because if you look at the math, you take 253 watts just from the processor alone. You know, let's do that real quick. Let's go ahead and look at the math on a calculator. So you take 253 watts. You usually add 150 watts for the motherboard. So that's 403 watts without anything else. That's just the motherboard, the RAM, the processor, you know, and the M.2 drive. All that in one package, 403 watts, minimal. Then you turn around and you add another 600 watts on just for the graphics card, just to say. So you add 600 watts on for the graphics card. That's 1,000 watts. Then you turn around, you add an additional 300 watts to it for any spiking or anything else. So now you're up to 1,300 watts. So just to be on the safety zone, you're best off just round it off to having between a 1,500 watt and 2,000 watt power supply. Okay, so if that's the case, then you go, I'm going to move the microphone, then you go on to, let's say, Amazon. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to whip into Amazon real quick. And we'll see what 1,500 watt power supply cost. Okay. $109 for a mining power supply, which you're never going to use. Or they get the Be Quiet Dark Pro for 1,500 watts, titanium, for $450. $450. I mean, you know, they got ones for $100, but they got one for $418. They got one for $512. You know, I mean, it depends on what you want, you know. But usually, looking from the max to the mini, you're looking at between 100 and you're looking at between 100 and, let's say, about $400 just for a power supply alone. So by the time you get done getting that power supply all done and everything else put into your system, guess what? You can't put the 1,500 watt power supply in your system because here's another thing. It won't fit. So now you're stuck getting another case, you know, and let's say the case you have has 120 millimeter fans, but the new case comes with 140 millimeter fans. Guess what? Now you're stuck getting new fans. So Now you're looking at another couple $100 just to get another case. You know, so far you had to get the motherboard, you had to get the processor, you had to get the RAM, and you had to get the M.2 drive to all match. And then after that, you had to get a bigger power supply, and then you had to get a bigger case, more fans, you know. And then by the time you got all that done, what are you left with? You're left with a $2,000 mess, between $1,500 and $2,000 mess. Your old computer, you might get maybe, let's say you're going to keep your old computer, so you keep it. But now you're building up a new computer. Where's the logic of profit? Now, this is what I would do. I would turn around, just for say, I would get me a 1,000-watt power supply for a 1,200 watt power supply for $100, right? And then after that, I keep everything. I keep the RAM, I keep everything. And I just switch out the video card. Now, my system should be able to switch out the video card with no problem, because I have no video card. So basically, I plug a new one in, and boom, I'm off to the races. Let's say I get an AMD video card, one of their highest video cards, or the newest one that comes out, and let's say they got it at a good deal. I just plug in the new one, and I guarantee my system will handle it, because it's all GPU that's going to be handling most of the process. As far as the bottlenecking and everything else, I don't think that's really going to be a big deal. Only time it bottlenecks is when you're pushing the graphics beyond the limit. That's when it bottlenecks. See, people get the bottlenecking all wrong. It's when your system is running on an average of normal gameplay, and you're getting between 100 and 150, 200 FPS. Where's the cap? The cap's not going to bottleneck. Okay? Me, the game I play, I get between 300 and 350 FPS. No discrete graphics card. It's just an iGPU. Now, that tells me, if I put a discrete graphics card in here, I know I'm gonna ball it to 400, at least 450. If I get a really good graphics card, I'll ball it to 450, no problem. So that's something to think about. I've already tested this just with the processor alone and the integrated graphics. So if you know what that's doing, then you know when you get a discrete graphics card, what that's going to be doing. Okay? It might sound insane, but it's actually not. Okay? Now you know what you got. And now you know what kind of graphics card you need when you got a system like mine. Then you go get the graphics card, boom. And then, you have another couple years on it, get like 4, 5, 6 years on it with no problem, and there it is. What more do you need than that? Are these games changing that fast that you need to get something that you think that the graphics are going to jump out of the screen any faster? They're not. I mean, your eyeballs only can handle so many graphics per milliseconds. So don't fool yourself. There's some graphics you cannot see that you're paying for. you're best to just stay 1080p and be happy with it, because that'll give you all the FPS in the world. You don't need to jump hoops to do 4K, which 4K is not going to give you the horsepower you need. Stay 1080p. That's just my opinion. You know, if you want to go higher than that, that's your business. But I'm staying 1080p, and the reason why, it's cheap. It does the same job. I ain't got to worry about artifacting. I don't have to worry about tearing, and I don't have to worry about lag. Because when you try to take them computers to the next level, what do you got? You got a cap on the ceiling. Okay, them 4080s, them RTX 4080s are only going to take you to that cap, and then after that, guess what? What do you got? Bottlenecking, because you're stuck at that cap. So, I mean, common sense says, you know, they built too big of a GPU, but they didn't build a big enough CPU to support that GPU. But I guarantee I can run that GPU with this CPU, and I don't care what anybody's going to say to me. Okay, I'm still going to do it. When I get my hands on it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to plug it right here into my system, and I'm going to hardwire it to this power supply, and I'm not going to overclock it. I'm going to let the motherboard do the clocking right up to where it needs to be, and I don't need to push it. And I guarantee I'll get better performance on the way I do things than everybody else. Just for say. But anyway, we don't want this video to get too long and too late. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Leave your comments below. Ring that bell. Let it help us out here. It would be much appreciated. The more subscriber, the better. We're still working towards the 1,000 subscribers. And again, thank you for the subscribers that we have. We have now 14 subscribers, and we're working hard to get up to the 1,000 mark. And we're getting close, we're not getting close, but, we're getting close to the 100 hours that are watched mark. So basically 100 hours it's getting close to that 100 hour mark, to where we still need 3,900 hours left before we can, YouTube sees us as creators here. So just to let you know that, watch the videos from the beginning to the end, and if you can, just watch them all. It would be much appreciated as well. But anyway, we're going to jump out, and till the next time, this is JayJay, your boy, and we will see you on the next video.